Hey, what's going on, everyone? It's your boy Matt Diazbo coming at you with a new album review. Today, I am reviewing one of the hottest and most anticipated metal releases of 2024, and that is the debut album of Better Lovers, Highly Irresponsible. Ooh. Better Lovers is a band that I've already covered before on my channel, but if you don't know who they are a metalcore band that is based all around the USA because all the members are from different areas. I think mostly the East Coast of the States. And they started this band after a band called Every Time I Die broke up, and most of the members were still looking to continue playing together. So Better Lovers was started here with a new guitarist and a new vocalist. They put out an EP last year, which was phenomenal. One of my favorite EPs called God Maybe an Animal. I'll put it in the description or the at the end of this video. And so people have been waiting to hear what they would do with a full length album. And this is that album. And I gotta say, the wait for this album, the anticipation building up for it, and whether they were able to whether if they were going to deliver or not was in question. And I gotta say, I think they definitely delivered a great album here, but in ways you wouldn't expect. They definitely do some things that, kind of turn your head a little bit and just like, oh, they did that. And but not in a weird way. It's like, oh, they did that and it's kind of cool. So let's get into this review. The songs on this album range from sounding super heavy and dense, like the opening song, Lie Between the Lines, or a little bit more on the chaotic side, with a white horse covered in blood, or even more softer, pulled back songs on what was it, At All Times. There's a lot of variation here, and I like that because they were expected to be a very chaotic band, but at times they have some really good structure, and some other times they're still very crazy, but in ways that you wouldn't expect. And they're still able to surprise you because a lot of these guys have been making this style of music for a long time. So it's really impressive that they're still able to make some really refreshing style music without it sounding really stale. And I think one of the standout moments is the opening song, Lie Between the Lines. Something about like the calmness before the song starts, and then it just really kicks in. And I wasn't expecting that heaviness from them. Like, it just sounds so dense and intense. So I want to play a clip of that so you can get a sense of that feeling of like, whoa, I got when I listened to it on the first time. So freaking intense from the get-go. I knew this album was going to be something special just from that like opening riff and style they're playing here. And one thing that's really cool about this album is that everyone is bringing their A game, so nothing really sounds like, oh, this part is better. I mean, or like this drummer or this guitarist or this vocalist is better than somebody else in the band. Everyone is just equally firing on all cylinders. Like I said, bringing their A game. No one is better than anyone else. They're equally just freaking amazing and are able to balance out all of those different styles with their really structured songs and more chaotic songs, and also with their orthodox and unorthodox style playing. Like, they at times they play like their instruments in a way you're like, oh, okay, I kind of expected it to go that way, and then other times it's just like, whoa, I didn't know a guitar could sound like that. I didn't know vocals could sound like that. So they're still able to keep you on your toes while you listen to this album. And talking about members of this band, I would probably say the main guitar writer here, Jordan Buckley, still is able to carry over that Every Time I Die style in terms of that southern rock style, but with an extra twanginess of heavy tuning and playing, especially on the track Deliver Us From Life. He has a really very distinctive play style, and you can hear it. While on other tracks, like I would say I think it's called Future Mafia, and Drowning in a Burning World, he has more of a manic and unhinged sound that just sounds really, really good and just very, very impressive at the same time. While also the other guitarist, Will Putney, is, I think, adding to that level of chaoticness, like on that side of those tracks, while Jordan is being more groovy and like southern like rock style, a little bluesy. So I want to play a clip of Deliver Us Life so you can hear that continuation of, I think, Every Time I Die style of southern rock with a little bit of extra heaviness to it. those riffs just got some good oomphness to them. And one thing about the guitars that are consistently really good about them is that they have a really good distorted grittiness to them and have a good groove to them that really helps the album just pace along really nicely because they've got a nice flow to them, really good groove to them, similar to like the bass. And I would say a good like way you can tell like how they're being so groovy is on the song Superman Died Paralyzed. It has a really nice gritty, grainy feel, yet also a very like heavy, hypnotic groove to it. So really, really good guitar playing on this album. And like I said, the bass also has a really good groove to it, and it has a very subtle approach to it, particularly on the song Your Misplaced Self. The bass is very low in the mix, but it's just very subtle and groovy, and you just can't realize, you don't realize that you're grooving out to it because it's so like mixed in very well. But then on other songs on like what's it called, A White Horse Covered in Blood, it's a little bit more upfront and has a really more effective and bigger feel to it. And I gotta say that throughout the whole album, it never really like gets drowned out or anything. Like the bass player is playing as just as hard as the guitarist and the drummer. He's going really hard, and it shows, and it's really, really executed well, I think. The drumming on here is quite phenomenal in terms of like his feels and how good he is at executing his drum fills. Like when you least expecting it, he throws in some really good fills that just kind of like mind blow you a little bit. Like, whoa, that was a really like sick like drum roll or like fill there, and he like consistently just throws them at you, and it's playing so fast that if you're not really paying attention, it just kind of goes over your head. But if you're deeply listening to it, you're like, whoa, like he's doing a really good job, particularly on the songs Love is an Act of Rebellion and Future Mafia. He's just really killing it with the fills and just switching from different styles and using different parts of the kit where, you know, most drummers I don't think like do as much as him. So really impressed by that. So I want to play a clip of Love is an Act of Rebellion so you can see the different styles and like the way he utilizes his drum kit on and plays really well. Here, it's a little bit more subtle, but like the little things he's doing just sound really, really good. Now, when it comes to the vocals, they're just like the EP they released last year. It's got a really raw and intense feel, but at times they do like inject some nice moments of serenity and like calmness to them that you wouldn't expect. And he does a really good job of like pulling back on his vocals at times and enunciating his words really. Majority of the album, like, yeah, his vocals are really raw and intense, just like on the song Your Misplaced Self or A Horse Covered in Blood. Those songs, he's really like doing his typical hard and intense screams, more like vocal fries and everything, and they sound really good. But then other times, like on the song Lie Between the Lines, he goes for like a lower, heavier register here, and it sounds really, really good and just a really refreshing take as the opening song to not just be as like high pitched and vocal fry. It's a nice refreshing switch. And then on the song Future Myopia, it kind of seems like he has like some reverb effects added to his voice, and it just makes it sound really cool and almost like has like a alien spacey quality to it that, you know, just sounds really different. And even at one point in the album, he sounded like Trent Reznor from Nine Inch Nails on the song Deliver Us from Life. The way he's singing there, I thought I was listening to a Nine Inch Nails song. In terms of production on this album, everything just sounds damn near perfect. Nothing really sounds overmixed or undermixed. Everything's layered really nicely. And I think what helps is like, you know, one of the guitar players is Will Putney, a major like engineer for the metal and alternative world. So I'm not too sure off the top of my head if he mixed and mastered this or they got somebody else, but these guys have been in the game for 20 plus years. Even if they're just playing instruments, I think at this point they know how they want to sound and how good they can sound. They know their style. They know how to mix and master themselves, I think. And so it really shows that their experience is like on full display here because they are able to make a really like great sounding album. Majority of this album for sure has a very unique and interesting take on their sound. There's only one song in particular where it seemed to drag a little bit in terms of being a little bit repetitive in the guitar riffs and repeating of certain like lyrics over and over. And it's not that long of a song, but just the way that it goes, it just drags out a little bit, and it's like in the middle of this album. And right now, I can't really remember what it's called. I'll look it up real quick. It was, if I'm correct, everything was put here for me. That song particularly has a little bit. It throws the album off a little bit because it just seems a little bit too repetitive. As one of the most highly anticipated albums in the alternative metal world for 2024, it definitely lives up to the hype that was being built up for it. And it's really great to see a lot of the guys who were in another band play in another band and just have as much success, because in just a short amount of time, they have like, I think all the fans from their previous band are just flooding with support. And it feels like that band hasn't really disappeared in terms of support and love, because these guys are just taking off with lots of headlining tours, good supporting acts, and even recreating a big festival in Christmas time in their hometown of Buffalo, New York. And so it sounds like, they're doing a really great job, and it shows that this album is really great. So I think they just hit all the right marks and are doing a really good job. So I could say this debut album from Better Lovers is a good and solid 9 out of 10. Mm. Links down below. Check them out. Go support them. Check them out. And I am Matt from Diazable. Thanks for coming on by. Check out this other review, my old review of their EP if you want. And until next time, guys, see you in the pit.